NWSL regular season action continues. Week 2 for the regular season already. We've got some adjustments that were made in light of the Challenge Cup semifinals being completed. That now means that North Carolina versus Portland Thorns, which was originally scheduled for Saturday, May 7th at 7 p.m., will be rescheduled to August 24th at 7 p.m. at Wake Met Soccer Park. And Chicago Red Stars versus Washington Spirit was originally scheduled for Saturday, May 7th as well. That has been moved to June 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern at SeatGeek Stadium. So that means for us here at Attacking Third, we've got 4 games to go through for regular season fixtures. And we're going to give you some picks on each one as these 8 clubs go head to head. Let's start off with San Diego Wave FC versus New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC. This is the lone match on Saturday, May 7th, and it's a late one. West Coast action. It's kicking off at 10 p.m. Eastern. Lisa, when we're taking a look at these two teams, who are you picking and why?
So I love that we only have 4. I mean, I'm sad. Of course, I wish there were 6 games, but because there's only 4, it's a little bit more consumable for me as a fan and as an analyst breaking down all of these games. But this is a huge match between these two sides because San Diego Wave, they get their second test as an expansion side against a Gotham team that has picked up a little bit of momentum in this regular season. They fell flat. Gotham fell flat throughout the Challenge Cup. They're coming off a 3-0 win over Orlando, and they had 3 different goal scorers. Christy Mewis getting a goal in the run of play. Margaret Purse doing what she does best, getting on the backside of defenders, ball in over the top. Great decision-making to stay left side and hit the ball with their left foot towards the far post. But San Diego Wave, they're also coming off of a win. This match is going to be a huge test. The fact that it is at home for San Diego gives the Wave an advantage for sure. They have their home fans on their side. This is the first regular season home match for San Diego. And if it is even 1/10 of what the home match was, the opening home match for Angel City, it's going to be electric for San Diego. And I know that San Diego Wave fans are going to show up for their team. This is a tough one for me to pick off the bat because I think Gotham is in this to win this. They have wiped the slate clean of Challenge Cup and what they couldn't perform, what they couldn't put together on the pitch. And now going up against a San Diego team, they can prove themselves a lot. I want to say San Diego because I'm going to be honest, I want San Diego to win this one, but I think Gotham's going to come out on top. I do.
Yeah, I was going back and forth a little bit on this one too, and just sort of taking consideration of the regular season matches that they had in week 1. This is going to be Gotham on the road, and San Diego has played pretty well in Herrera Stadium, their home facility, and they've been doing okay. They've made it at the very least a tough place to play in a short span of time, and they're coming off of a win against Houston, but this was a game against the Houston Dash side that just have been having their own struggles on the pitch. And unfortunately, that has now turned into some things off of the pitch as well. So getting a win off of this Houston Dash side, a team that is currently struggling with things, but having this goal come in the 86th minute of the game. Took a long time for them to get this win. And then you have Gotham, yes, coming away with a 3-0 win over Orlando Pride, but we're looking at Orlando Pride as a team that's also going through their own things with a new head coach and going through the process of a rebuild and integrating a ton of new faces into a system that is sort of still finding its identity. So I'm almost sort of feeling like this is week 2. Both of these teams have a regular season match under their belt, but this is still very, very early. I think they're still going to be trying to figure out some things out on the pitch. And even though Gotham is the team on the road in this one, I'm feeling the same way about this one, Lisa. I think Gotham is going to come into Herrera Stadium and make a little bit of noise. I don't know if we're going to get a big 3-0 win or even something narrow like a 1-0 win that San Diego had against Houston, but I hope it's entertaining, and I think it's going to tip the way of Gotham as they sort of wipe the slate clean and look ahead to delivering results in the regular season. Let's move on to the next match. We've got a triple header for May 8th, Sunday, Sunday. It's going to kick off with Kansas City versus Houston Dash at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Kansas City hosting this one at Children's Mercy Park. Kansas City coming off of a 3-0 loss to Portland, and Houston coming off that 1-0 loss to San Diego. Lisa, when you're looking at these two teams going head to head, who are you picking in this one and why?
So we've seen Kansas City and Houston play each other. They faced off throughout the Challenge Cup. They played 3 times throughout the Challenge Cup, which was a lot, but you have to take a look at their regular season matches that they're coming off of. Kansas City went into Portland and they got pummeled 3-0 against Portland in that match. And Houston, they played at home against San Diego Wave. And we just talked about it. It was a late game winner from Jody Taylor that was able to lift San Diego over Houston. So when we look at the Challenge Cup rematches that these two teams played against each other, most recently they played in the group stage, and Kansas City won against Houston. That was 2-1. And then the very last time that these two teams played in the Challenge Cup, it was Kansas City winning 3-0 in that one. So Kansas City got the upper hand over Houston in both of those Challenge Cup matches, one of them being a shutout, but things are a little different now. Houston is traveling to Children's Mercy Park. Kansas City, they've had a week after that Portland loss to regroup and say, okay, we're facing outside competition outside of our little bubble of a central region. What do we need to do to regroup? And that's find more consistency in what kind of identity Kansas City is going to be. Are they going to attack a lot down the flank? Are they going to possess a little bit more? Are they going to drive centrally? And in the Challenge Cup match that Kansas City just played in the semifinal, we saw so much more confidence in the diversity of their attack. They were able to hold the ball when they needed to, slow down play, really dictate the tempo, but also push, find Kristen Hamilton in the attack. We saw Haley Mace come into that semifinal match for Kansas City as well in the second half. Coming back from a bit of an injury is Mace, so I'm hoping she'll get more time against Houston. But ultimately, I have Kansas City getting the upper hand over Houston for the 3rd time this season, and Kansas City coming away with the win at home.
I'm with you, Lisa. I think there's a trend here that we're going to be doing. We're going to be making this similar picks. I think at least for these first two. I'm also going with Kansas City in this one. I just didn't see enough from Houston Dash in that regular season opener, their home opener against San Diego. It's, if anything, this is a team that we talked about during the Challenge Cup where we were left with more questions than answers. And I think after that week 1 loss in the regular season against San Diego, I have even more. And I it's unfortunate because you look across that roster and you can look and point out these pieces of individual talent that they have along the roster. When you can go through each line and point out a couple, whether it's somebody like a Daly or a Nichelle Prince or a Maria Sanchez in their attack, or in their back line with somebody like a Katie Naughton being able to be this sort of confident and calm kind of presence in the center back role. But it's not coming together for whatever reason on the pitch. And I think for Kansas City, we've sort of seen the opposite of that. We've seen this team already begin to take those steps in terms of trying to solidify who they are trying to be in 2022. And I think coming off of that big loss against Portland in the regular season, coming back home to Children's Mercy Park to have the home opener for their regular season, they do not want to disappoint. I think they want to get back to the soccer and to the identity they were trying to establish in terms of becoming a team that is going to be tough to play against this year in 2022. I also have them picking up a win in this one. I don't know if it's going to be a big blowout, which we saw them do against the Dash in the Challenge Cup, because I think the Houston will also be coming in with a little bit to prove as well. But I think it might be a little more narrow, but I think that Kansas City is going to walk away with the win in this one as well. Let's take a look at the other match that is taking place. OL Reign versus Racing Louisville FC. This one is going to be kicking off at 6 p.m. Eastern. So we've got about an hour's difference between these two matches. OL Reign, oh my goodness. Lisa, we got to talk about both of these teams, quite frankly. But setting the stage a little bit for this one, coming off of a tough semifinal result in the Challenge Cup against Washington Spirit, going to make the return to Lumen Field, coming off of the tough result that ended in penalty kicks, and a 2-1 loss in the regular season opener to Washington Spirit as well. So a couple of tough things, I think, on the mental side of things that they're going to have to quickly try to get over. And if I'm Racing Louisville on the road in this one, going into Lumen Field, having to go up against an OL Reign side that is coming off of some tough results, it might be a little, they might be facing a little bit of a tempered OL Reign side for sure. I have to believe that this one could have some fireworks in it on the Reign side of the pitch. Lisa, when you're looking at these two teams, are you swinging one way or the other? We've yet to pick a draw in any of these matches. We may or may not, but who are you looking at in this one and why?
I don't see OL Reign Racing Louisville ending in a draw. I have OL Reign taking the win in this one. As you mentioned, there's so many emotions coming into this match for Racing Louisville. They're coming off 2 back-to-back losses against Washington Spirit, one of them in the Challenge Cup semifinal, going to penalty kicks. Jess Fishlock ultimately is the one that got her last penalty kick saved. That was the last domino to fall in that match, giving Washington Spirit that win. But Jess Fishlock also suffered a bit of an injury during that semifinal game, a bit of a calf injury. She didn't get taken off. She continued to play through it. I'm curious to see if she will play in this match against Racing Louisville. As a competitor, I know Fishlock wants to do that, but is it the smartest for her to continue to play through an injury so early on in the regular season? Probably not. However, Laura Harvey is pissed after that loss. I think Rose Lavelle is upset. I mean, the entirety of OL Reign is not happy with how the Challenge Cup semifinal ended. The fact that they didn't make it to the final, they are going to take it out on Racing Louisville. And Racing Louisville, I don't think they should be scared, but it's got to be a bit intimidating going into Lumen Field, going up against a team that is coming off back-to-back losses and are just fired up to get a win. I could see this being a complete shootout in the terms that Racing Louisville is looking to go to goal. They're going to be opened up and exposed because they're going to look to stretch. Emily Fox is going to have a lot to deal with in terms of OL Reign attack. But ultimately, I have OL Reign winning this one against Racing Louisville, and at home, Laura Harvey's side is going to take the win.
To be frank and to be fair, I don't think, considering the buildup to this week 2 in the regular season for the Reign, I don't think it would really matter who was going into Lumen Field. It just happens to be that it's going to be Racing Louisville in this one. The personnel available for OL Reign ahead of their Challenge Cup semifinal, we saw the update there last minute with the addition of Quinn and their status being upgraded to out. And even without a player of that caliber, looking at what the Reign were trying to produce in the semifinal, just sort of even that final 15-minute stretch, just really seeing like, okay, this is the Reign. They could just turn it on at any moment of the game. And I think knowing that this team is capable of that, we're probably going to continue to see that in this regular season match. I'm also going with OL Reign to take the victory in this one. Not too sure again if I'm going high in terms of a scoreline or a low scoreline. I don't know if I'm deeply committed to that, quite frankly. I'm just eager to sort of see how they come out in response to these last couple of games that they've got under their belt, quite frankly. I'm curious to see who is going to be available in addition to Racing Louisville, who have had a little bit less games in between, right? Versus a team like the Reign. Jessica Fishlock will look like to be playing through some things in that semifinal. And we'll see if there's any added minutes for somebody like a Megan Rapinoe, who ultimately made her NWSL debut in 2022, coming in very late into that Challenge Cup semifinal. So we'll see. I think I'm excited to see who is available and who gets a crack at this week 2. And I think making a return to Lumen Fields after having to be away on the road for Challenge Cup,
Yeah.
I think is a welcomed added element for this club. There's no place like home, right? So I think that the Reign are going to take this one as well. Last one for the episode, we've got Angel City versus Orlando Pride. That is going to close out the triple header for Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern time for the kickoff. Angel City going to host this one again at Bank of California Stadium, coming off of a huge electric win against North Carolina Courage, defeating the Courage 2-1 in their first ever regular season victory. And you've got Orlando Pride coming off of that 3-0 loss to Gotham. When we're looking at these two teams, Lisa, who are you looking at and why? Are we going for the same team again in this one? Tell me who you got.
I hope we're not, but we might be. Angel City FC. I think they're going to win this one. So who do you have before we dive into this?
I'm also looking at Angel City in this one. But
I love it. We're finally, it's almost a year doing the podcast and we're just clicking on all cylinders right now. Yeah, Angel City, they're coming off of just such an electric home opener against North Carolina. And because of that, I think they're going to carry this momentum into it. It's their second home game. We saw a lot of positive things from Angel City throughout the Challenge Cup, and it carried over into that opening regular season game about how Angel City can keep the ball. They can possess, they can play really quick 1-2 touches. They can dribble themselves out of pressure, and a number of players on the pitch, not just Kristen Press or Savannah McCaskill, but a lot of different players can find themselves in trouble and be able to problem solve and get out of that. Their off-ball movement has been tremendous. Constantly, the 3-4 players in closest degree to the ball are moving, looking to get into open space, scanning the field, trying to find that next pass, which allows for such a greater rate of possession out of a team like Angel City that needs to keep the ball moving. They don't have a deep bench. They can't be running all over the pitch. They have to let the ball do the work. And we've seen that. This will be a test for them against Orlando Pride. They're coming off of a tough 3-0 loss to Gotham. And Orlando is a team that's struggling, but they have good pieces and they have players that can disrupt teams and cause trouble for opponents. I'm looking at Gunny Jonsdottir. I even think Erica Timrack has provided a lot for Orlando Pride. Orlando now has Erin McLeod back in net, the goalkeeper, after she suffered a bit of an injury during the Challenge Cup. So Erin McLeod will play really well, and she's going to keep her eye on Kristen Press this entire match. But ultimately, Angel City is just putting the pieces together slowly. They're picking up speed and momentum, and that's because they're staying at home, Bank of California Stadium. They have their fans. This momentum from last week is going to roll over into this week, and I see Angel City taking the win in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think, quite frankly, kind of a depleted bench or lack of depth on the rosters in this one might be the thing that kind of cancels each other out. I think you're going to have an Angel City side, the expansion side in this one, try to get on the board early and try to dictate tempo from the jump versus a Pride team that has had some injury blows really early on into their season, coupled with a ton of new faces that are still getting, adapted to NWSL transitional type of play. Yes, it's a plus that Erin McLeod is back in net for this team. It's a plus having the experience of somebody like a Gunny Jonsdottir. And this is a team that showed us during the Challenge Cup that they can maybe navigate their ways through a little bit of a physical, choppy type of game and maybe scrap out a little bit of a result, or even just make it a difficult day, quite frankly, if you're the opposition. But I just think in terms of what it means to get a win in soccer, and that means getting the ball in the back of the net, I think in this game, Angel City has the better of the pieces in this one against an Orlando Pride team that has been struggling to do just that. So that's why I'm going with Angel City in this one, and I cannot believe it. We did 4 matches and we picked all wins and we picked all the same teams, Lisa. So you know what that means. I'm excited to come back on here and see what went wrong.
Exactly. I like that though, because we finally have a taste of what each of these teams can bring, not only against similar competition that we saw throughout the Challenge Cup, but also in the first weekend of the regular season, we got to see different competition. We got to see different sides of a lot of teams that were trying to figure out what worked throughout the Challenge Cup. And now the pieces are coming together. I can't believe it's only the second weekend of the regular season, but we have Challenge Cup final as well. There's just so much to look forward to. And the fact that we no draws and we have all the same picks. Yeah, I'll see you on Sunday night. We'll see what happened.
We will see what happens. Gosh, it's been quite the week so far, and we are not done. Here is your reminder once more that we're going to have a live pregame show May 7th, 12:30 to 1 p.m. before the Challenge Cup final with Lori Lindsey. Make sure you follow us at Attacking Third on YouTube. Visit youtube.com/Attacking Third so that you do not miss a single second of our pregame show.